everyone, and welcome back to Movie Chat, where it's all about the plot. My name is Rachel, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro. As you can see by the way I'm dressed, today we are going to be discussing Wednesday Season 2. Now that I finally finished watching it for myself, I'm here to share my thoughts and opinions on Season 2 and what we can look forward to in Season 3. I also plan to cover Alien Earth next, as I got someone from my last video who recommended it to me in the comments section. I do apologize for taking a long time to post, as I am starting my fall semester of school. However, once I get that under control with assignments and classes, I do plan to post more consistently than I have been doing. Before we begin, if you are new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Without further ado, let's get into it. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Netflix show Wednesday, the series follows the main character Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family and her mysterious adventures at Nevermore, a school specifically designed for monster, or as they call in the show, outcast students. To recap for anyone who hasn't seen Season 1 or 2, Season 1, Wednesday Addams gets kicked out of her former high school and is sent to attend Nevermore, the same school her parents went to when they were her age. There, she finds herself attempting to solve the recent murders of humans in the local town Jericho that has been caused by a mysterious monster called a Hyde. She discovers the Hyde is none other than her crush, Tyler, with him being controlled by Nevermore teacher, Miss Thornhill. She is able to put a stop to their plans of destroying the school with the help of her friends. In Season 2, Wednesday returns to Nevermore to find herself being harassed by a mysterious stalker and attempting to prevent her premonition of someone close to her dying from coming true. However, because her psychic abilities are malfunctioning, she has to rely on help from both her mother and grandmother to save her family members from being killed by resurrected student and scientist Isaac Knight. In many ways, Season 2 feels like a huge departure from Season 1 in terms of story writing. Unlike Season 1, Season 2 follows various storylines and intertwining mysteries, whereas Season 1 only focused on one main mystery storyline with small side plots. This, to me, is both good and bad. It's good because it creates more excitement for the audience and greater exploration into characters such as seen with Enid, Tyler, Pugsley, and Morticia Addams. However, it's bad because some of these storylines, while entertaining, do little for the show or the main plot. One example of this is Enid's love triangle with Ajax and Bruno. I'll admit, I kind of did predict at the end of Season 1 that Enid and Ajax's relationship would come to an end. Not because I hate them being together, but rather I just didn't feel there was much of a connection there. And while some Ajax fans may hate me for saying this, I don't think this was a matter of Enid selfishly moving on or being intentionally horrible to Ajax. Rather, I think it's very normal for anyone at that age to fall for someone and then realize midway that you may no longer be into them. And it can be hard to end things properly without hurting the other person's feelings when it comes to first relationships like Enid and Ajax. While I don't think Enid should have kept Ajax in the dark for so long, I do think Enid is allowed to grow in terms of her relationships. Yet, I feel like the whole love triangle with Enid between Ajax and Bruno was pointless to carry so long in the season. If anything, the plot point with her being an alpha werewolf was so much more interesting than the love triangle, and I really wish we got to see it more instead of leaving it for the last few episodes. I honestly feel like it would have been better if we spent less time on the love triangle and more time on the alpha werewolf concept. I also think with the alpha plot point, we could have focused more on what this means for Enid, being that she wolfed out so late, and how this impacts her werewolf identity. Another example of a side plot that wasn't as meaningful was Bianca's, with her taking care of her mother. And honestly, I had hope for more of Bianca's story with her being a former member of the cult Morning Song. Yet, I was so disappointed by how it was done in Season 2. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad we get to see both Bianca and her mom breaking free from the cult and improving their relationship compared to how it was in Season 1. However, I feel there should have been more at stake for this storyline with Bianca. Being that Morning Song is this horrible cult that she's so terrified of, I feel like we should have emphasized Morning Song's intimidation and power more. like if we had scenes with current or former members of Morning Song. I do like the twist of Principal Dort being the actual leader and creator of Morning Song. However, I feel like he wasn't as intimidating as a villain. If anything, he was more manipulative than he was scary. I just really feel more should have been done to make us feel the same dread and terror that Bianca was feeling during all of this to make us lean into her story more. I have to say though, with how unexpected the main story was, I like how the main villain was actually more unexpected. I feel like the stalker aspect of the story helped to throw us off who the main villain would be in a hilarious and unpredictable way. When the stalker was revealed to be Avian Judy Stonehurst, Dr. Fairbairn's real boss at the Willow Hills Psychiatric Hospital, not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed at first, mainly because I couldn't really fathom her being the new threatening villain of Season 2. Again, like with Dort, I couldn't see her being a terrifying or powerful foe for Wednesday to face off. However, when it was revealed that Isaac Knight would be the actual villain, I was stoked. Not only because he was a much more twisted, villainous character, a mad scientist willing to kill anyone who stands in the way of his genius, but also because it showed me that the writers were taking a different approach rather than following the same formula from Season 1. And I feel this is a great sign that rather than keeping things the same for the sake of staying safe, they are trying new things with the story writing in order to keep it engaging for the audience. I felt that this was a very clever red herring they did for the villain reveal, and it makes me even more excited for how they will potentially handle Season 3. However, while we got backstory on Isaac, I feel like there is very little that we know about his sister, Francois. Their relationship to me is both unsettling and at the same time fascinating. I feel like in terms of them both being the main antagonist, we focus too much on Isaac and too little on Francois. Francois is someone I would say isn't intentionally evil or villainous like Isaac. Unlike Isaac, she is more nurturing and caring. Yet there are moments where her behavior flips on a dime to being very aggressive and unhinged, similar to Tyler. And I strongly think this has to do with her being a Hyde. I think it's also interesting the way the show separates female Hydes from male Hydes, where the female Hydes, in a sense, are more powerful than the male Hydes. And I say this not only because Francois in her Hyde form is much larger than Tyler, but also from the reveal that female Hydes don't need a master to survive, unlike male Hydes. But anyways, going back to Francois, I wish we got more background on her character. Us seeing her for the first time is so exciting, but the fact that we don't know much about her is kind of a letdown. Her appearance in Wednesday is especially important for Tyler's storyline since he learns more about what it means to be a Hyde from her. Not only that, but it's a chance to learn more about himself and his family. I feel like one tragic part of Tyler meeting his mom is the idea that he had of his mom being a better parent than his father is broken as he learns of his mother's own disturbing and intimidating nature, especially when she is with Isaac. I feel like we should have seen moments in Francois' childhood of her being a Hyde causing her this shame, fear, and embarrassment that makes her so desperate to get rid of it. And I also feel we should have seen a flashback that tells us how and why her connection with Isaac is so deep. Because like I said before, while their sibling relationship is definitely weird to say the least, it's psychologically interesting to me and worth learning about and understanding. Speaking of moms, I have to say I really enjoyed seeing more depth between Wednesday and Morticia's relationship. I feel like one critique of this season is how Wednesday treats her mom. However, I feel like it's very normal in teen years to rebel and pull away from your parents. But this season, not only do we see this relationship from Wednesday's point of view, but also from Morticia's point of view. And I feel like this really helps us not only understand both characters better, but also how their relationship may continue to progress in Season 3. Speaking of Season 3, I'm really looking forward to us finally getting to meet Ophelia after the cliffhanger left for us at the end of the season, where it is revealed that Hester Frump, Morticia's mother, has been keeping Ophelia locked away in the basement of her own house. In this scene, we see Ophelia writing what appears to be in blood on the walls with a message that reads, "Wednesday must die." This reveals to us that Wednesday's premonition of an Addams family member dying hasn't been avoided since she is the one destined to die. However, this shocking and concerning scene begs us to ask one question. Is Ophelia good or bad? Her writing in blood about her niece dying makes people believe that perhaps she may be a new enemy for Wednesday to face off, especially since it's been repeatedly mentioned by her mother that Ophelia was driven mad by her visions, and this scene definitely shows us that. However, I feel like this may be a misdirection. Morticia did say that Wednesday was similar to Ophelia. I feel like the same way Wednesday would do anything to protect her family and friends, perhaps Ophelia is the same way. I predict that the same vision that caused Ophelia to faint and bleed black tears in the courtyard is perhaps a vision of Wednesday dying. Perhaps that's why she went mad, because she was so horrified about what she saw that it became an obsession for her to protect Wednesday. Hence why she is locked in her mother's basement. This is also probably why Hester desperately wanted Wednesday to spend the summer with her. Perhaps she thought that by having Ophelia see Wednesday still alive, that it would end her fears of her vision coming true. I really can't wait to see Ophelia, and I hope that she will become Wednesday's new mentor for season 3, which will allow her to learn more about her abilities as a Raven. I would also love to see not only a reunion between the two sisters, but also a flashback episode from when Ophelia and Morticia were children and first started attending Nevermore. Then we will be able to see the events that led up to Ophelia falling down and fainting in the courtyard. I feel like a flashback episode would really help give us further insight into the sisters and their relationship with each other. I know there are a lot of theories going on about Ophelia, such as who will play her and what we can expect to see from her. I heard one theory going around that Rowan from season 1 is likely Ophelia's son, as both have vocalized about how Wednesday must die. It would also explain why Rowan was so determined to kill Wednesday in the first episode of season 1. However, I don't think Rowan will be revealed as her son, as he already has a different set of parents. Besides, if he were Ophelia's son, in order for him to be enrolled in Nevermore, he would need a parent or a guardian to come with him to be enrolled, as we see in season 1 where Wednesday's parents come with her to enroll her in the school. And honestly, it would be hard for Ophelia to do that. Mainly because, she's busy being locked away in the basement, wearing flower crowns and drawing in blood on the walls. Another candidate to enroll Rowan, if he is Ophelia's son, would be Hester Frump. However, Hester Frump has already expressed her disdain for Nevermore. So, no, I don't think that Rowan will be revealed as Ophelia's son. However, I do theorize that maybe Ophelia, needing a spy on the outside to monitor Wednesday, formed a psychic connection somehow with Rowan. Perhaps her visions were being shared with him in a way that caused him to go mad. This would explain his aggressive behavior that we see with both Wednesday and Xavier. Maybe he interpreted the vision Ophelia shared with him in the wrong way, causing him to attempt to kill Wednesday. I do feel that Rowan's motives and goals for killing Wednesday are still a loose end that was never tied up in season 1 or 2, so I would really like for it to be included in season 3 as some sort of connection to Ophelia. But yeah, with that being said, I really enjoyed watching Wednesday season 2 and can't wait for season 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments below which movie or movie trailer you guys want me to cover next. Like I said, I do plan on covering Alien Earth next, but please let me know, what else do you guys want me to discuss? With that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.